I've been training with Chris for at least 10 years. I think when I started training with Chris, I was training hard for things like marathons, obstacle races like the Tough Mudder, doing a lot of intense stuff. But I was also just as often not training consistently, not focusing on strength training, and occasionally getting pretty hurt. So it was, I was really lucky that I found Chris at the time that I did. About 3 years ago, I had my first child, and I trained through that pregnancy up until about my 9th month. We obviously changed and adjusted our training regimen throughout that. And then I started right back up again at 3 months postpartum, and I just had my second child and trained through that second pregnancy with Chris as well. And I'm in the process of getting back right now after that pregnancy. Training through the pregnancies with Chris was always, there was a lot of give and take. There was always a lot of feedback. So we'd start each session with how are we feeling? So a lot of stretching, but modified stretching, not the same stretching we did when I wasn't pregnant, particularly as my core, my center of balance was adjusting throughout it. So it was different, but it was still challenging, just in a different way. I think one of the reasons I have stayed with it for so long is that it is never boring. I feel like we, often do different things from week to week or month to month. So even if we get into something we really like, a couple months later, we modify it in a way that it's new. So, when I think about prior experiences training or watching what other people are doing, it seems like the trainers are kind of setting the agenda with what they like the best and what they know sometimes. And with me, I feel like it's always about what I need and what I'm most interested in. And particularly for someone like me that did a lot of sports, Chris always keeps me moving. So yes, we do some more stationary things, but in every session he knows I need to do something that's more active and always keeps me moving and interested. So whenever we do certainly a new exercise, but even when we maybe haven't done in a while, we focus on form first. So if that means that we take it step by step in the movement, or we do it a little more slowly, or if Chris is just describing to me what are the muscles that I should feel in this exercise, we always first focus on form. And I do believe it's greatly reduced the kind of small injuries I used to find myself in before I started training with Chris. So by the end of a session or the next day when I used to work out, I'd have a backache or a certain knee would bother me. And certainly part of it is probably, age. But I think that because of the focus on form, that also reduces, for me, those small injuries or tweaks I used to get from hard training. I can exercise consistently and intelligently, and I love it. And I think Chris loves exercise too. I think the passion rubs off on his clients.